Hello, hi there, and welcome back to Dance Colleges and Careers. I'm your host, Brittany Oltmeyer, and we are excited to have you. This is our series talking about focus, and today we are diving in on blocking out distractions. Blocking out distractions, why media has no place in dance class. This is like a double-edged sword that we have a wonderful class, and the best way to finish it is by pulling out our phones, take a video of that combination, posting it to social media, blah, blah, blah. That's great. That's not distracting, at least in my opinion. You know, it's like the last 3 minutes of class. Now you have proof of how amazing you are. And plus, it's fun to go back and watch the videos and just dance with your friends, okay? That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm mostly talking about smartwatches. Yeah, and this is because I am a culprit of it myself. I actually have a Garmin. I am a Garmin girl right now. So if you're a Garmin, shout out. I'm sure there's only not as many of us as you Apple people, but I was taking a ballet class and I'm in the middle of an exercise, and I'm not used to taking class with my watch on. This is kind of a new thing for me. And in the middle of like dégagés, my watch buzzes, and by habit, I lift my hand up and look at the notification. Now, realistically, what was going to happen? Was I going to stop my tendu exercise? Oh, wait, what did I say? Dégagés. Was I going to stop the dégagé exercise to respond to some random group text message that I had received? No, that's idiotic. The point is that whatever my watch had to tell me, it could have waited. It could have waited. It's not that important for me to know how many steps I've taken. Sure, it's fun. It's a toy. They're just fun. I know. I get it. But while at the bar, I fell as culprit to the smartwatch as well. And I felt super guilty about it. Felt super guilty. Okay, so that's me as a student with my watch, and how that totally took me out of focus of what I was doing with my dégagés. And then I went through the whole emotional turmoil of, oh crap, I looked at my watch. Oh, did the teacher see me look at my watch? Oh, now I've messed up the exercise. Oh my gosh, what's it called? And when everything keeps tumbling down, like, what a mess. How silly for all of that to be going on in my brain when all I really needed to be thinking about or doing was my dégagés. All right. So that is how one little moment, one incident I had wearing my watch. Now let me give you a different perception. So when I'm teaching, I have my watch on because sometimes I can play music from it, play or stop, kind of like a remote, and because it helps keep track of my time management for my class. But I have to say, as the teacher, I am very aware when a student gets distracted by what's going on on their watch. When I'm actually teaching, talking to you, and you drop your focus to look down at your watch, it's no different than how rude it is when people are having a conversation and you drop your head to look at your phone instead of looking at the other person in the eyes. This happens a lot. I know some studios, kids are allowed to wear their watches, some they're not. If you're on the fence about it, or if you're wondering at all, like, oh, should I count my steps today? Or if your notifications are on there, just turn your notifications off. Because I think it's not what you're actually doing, it's how what you're doing is perceived. So if you're trying to make a good impression with your teacher, and every once in a while your watch is buzzing and it says, yay, good job, you're this far away, but it looks like you're looking at group text messages or a message from somebody that is more important than what we're doing in class, then the teacher will probably look at a different student who doesn't think something else is more important than what's going on in the classroom right then and there. Because hey, that's just basic manners. Manners 101. Eye contact when you're speaking to a human being. And this is all about getting ahead, getting better, improving. So if you want the respect if you want that respect from your teacher, you have to give it back to your teacher. In case that's something you haven't thought about before, or how maybe you're looking at your watch can be perceived in class, it's can be seen as rude. There it is. That's just more blunt. So yeah, it's rude. So I'm going to say if you can. No, you absolutely can. Turn off your notifications or just take your watch off for the class. Like, it's not that important to count your 500 steps you're going to get. Back when the smartwatches were starting, I used to have a lot of friends put them in their leotards so that they could, or inside their costumes so they could still get their step count, but obviously you can't wear a watch on stage, or you can't wear watches when you're performing. So I don't know. That's what they did. But that was also before text messages were coming to our watches and everything. So as a reminder, we're talking about watches today because we're discussing focus. We're talking about how to be better focused in class, how to stay more engaged so that you can get more out of every single class. So we talked about watches. Now, how about our cell phones? How many of us bring our cell phones into the room, or even, oh man, I remember in college, we'd bring our phones into like this area outside. And then when you'd get your water, you'd sneak and check out like what notifications are on your phone. It's silly. That's nonsense. But now, like, that was 10 plus years ago. That was 10 years ago. Now our phones are so attached to us from such an early age, it's just not going to help you stay engaged for class. Okay? You go and you check your phone because you were expecting a message from somebody, and you end up with maybe not the message you were expecting, and it puts you in a rotten mood. And now that wrecks the rest of your dance class because you can't separate class from your personal life. Well, now that's your own problem. Okay, you've created a problem and you brought it into the dance studio. You're not supposed to have your phone in there. I know it could be the other way. You could get a message that makes you really excited, or maybe nothing at all, but it still separates you from the room and it encourages you to think about other things. In today's society, I think people get really, like, we are so proud of being able to multitask so much, but the more you study that, the more you look at how many things can I multitask at, the more you realize that if you're trying to do everything at once, you're probably doing everything, let's say, at a level 6 rather than at a level 10. Whereas if you are really focused on one thing, one project, one dance class, one tandu, then you actually, this is like science experiments. I don't know the science experiments, but I know a lot of smart people in smart books say this, that if you go all in on one task, that you're probably going to have a lot more success with that than if you try to multitask every activity every day and end up bragging about how many things you can do at once. So as a teacher, I really try to encourage students to leave their drama at the door. Let's just say leave your crap at the door. Okay? We don't need to bring in your crap. And what I mean is, let's say you had a bad day at school and you step into the studio and all you can do is frown and maybe you want to cry and stare at yourself in the mirror with that pouty face. That's not a good plan. That's not respectful to your teacher. That's not good for your life. That's not good for your friendships. That's not good for your math test that you already took that you failed at. The best thing you can do is to leave your crap at the door. Leave your crap at the door, step into the studio with a fresh brain, with a fresh mind, allowing yourself to do better, to improve, to learn, to accept new wins, rather than dragging in that craptastic math test that you failed at today or that you feel really bad about, because that will resonate with you physically. If you're feeling bad, you're just going to be speaking to yourself poorly in your brain, saying you can't do this because you can't take that math test. You're going to be a dummy forever. And that's, like I said, that's just not helpful for your focus. That's not helpful for you improving. And the sooner you can disengage or separate or compartmentalize, we like to say, the sooner you can compartmentalize school stress from your dance stress or your dance struggles or fun or whatever we're discussing here, then you'll be able to compartmentalize those wins as well and really see a lot of that success. So by leaving those distractions at the door, not welcoming them into the studio like a ghost following you, you're going to have a better class, a better day, and probably make more friends along the way because you are welcoming in this positive, energizing, eager to learn attitude rather than negative and hard to be around attitude. Thanks for listening, guys, to today's episode of Blocking Out Distractions, Why Media Has No Place in Dance Class. I do think it's really important, and the great thing about it is if you disengage from your cell phone, the best place to do that is when you go to dance class. That's one of the joys of being a dancer, is you can separate from your phone, from that digital world, and live like fully and presently with your friends in your space, in the studio, with the music, with your emotions, with your passion, and really reach for your goals with your friends. Thanks for listening to Dance Colleges and Careers. If you would like to reach out with any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us by going to starbloomdance.com. Again, my name's Brittany Oldsmeyer. You have a lovely day and keep on dancing.